Hello and welcome to this edition of Business Spotlight. I'm joined today by Mary Kemp, and Mary is the co-founder of AI Potential. I know this is going to be an interesting conversation. Welcome to the call, Mary. It's good to see you.
It's lovely to be here with you, Gavin.
Mary, we've chatted before, and you've got quite a varied sort of career path to get to where you are now. Before we kind of dig into AI Potential, just tell us a little bit about your journey and how
Well,
you ended up doing what you're doing.
yeah, I suppose it's an unusual career path. Most people wouldn't guess that I actually started life as a nurse, um, and went traveling. Very quickly realized that I was not made for the structure in which I was in. Um, and then started going into marketing and sales, mostly through pharma.
Right.
And which is a great testing ground. And then having our own company for the last 20 years, specializing in business development in large corporate America. So it was quite a varied
Yeah.
background until we pivoted. Uh, and that's where AI Potential was born. So around 2.5 years ago,
Right.
we realized, well, actually, we were kind of lucky, I think, that we dived deep into ChatGPT at that stage,
Yeah.
and it was able to replicate a big piece of work that would normally take the team 4 to 6 weeks. It
Right.
was able to do it in under an hour, and it was able to do it better than us,
Yes.
um, which was horrific. We may have said some swear words and felt very sorry for ourselves. And then we realized we had a choice. We could sit and wait to be disrupted, or we could pivot and help other businesses navigate it. And that's what we've been
Wow.
doing ever since. We had no idea how far ahead of the curve we were and quite what we were biting off. And it's just, I just feel really lucky. It's been an
Wow.
incredible journey.
So a little bit of a Damascus Road type moment for you when you
Yeah.
realized the potential. But, 2 years ago, even if people were getting into it now, we'd say they were early adopters. You jumped in. That you keep saying we. I presume that's your partner as
Yeah,
well.
so yes, my partner in crime and life. So we're a
Yeah.
husband and wife team.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, we had no we honestly when we pivoted because it was such an eye-opening experience for us.
Yes.
And this was unknown territory that we
Yes.
assumed we'd have a few months that everyone else would see what we saw and that the adoption curve would be really short.
Yeah.
We now know, of course, that's not true, and this will be happening over years and years to
Okay.
come.
But when you are early adopters, of something that is a fast moving technology or fast moving environment, you find yourself, the analogy I'm going to use is you find yourself being carried along with the current rather than sailing the current. So what have you learned and what has changed over the last 2 years in terms of what your vision for your business is and what you want to achieve through it?
That's a really good question. So, initially, I don't think we had any clue what we'd bitten off. We weren't aiming to be an accidental startup. We had long-term connections with some very large enterprise organizations in the States.
Right.
And I'm glad we made this assumption because otherwise we may not have jumped as quickly as we did.
Right.
Our assumption was that they would come with us.
Okay.
That because these are people we knew really well, like C-suite level, hanging,
Yeah.
we would fly over and stay with them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I can say now, 2.5 years later, they still haven't followed us yet.
Right. Okay.
And that's because the larger the organization, the slower the adoption. So, what we needed to do then was very quickly integrate with our local business community,
Yeah.
which we hadn't done that much because we were US based,
Yeah.
um, and just help and support and do whatever we could. And so that's what we did, and we became that accidental startup. So we just went out and gave our time, which enabled us to learn as well as helping organizations. So we did that a lot with charities in the Brighton area, just went and
Yeah.
gave up time and
Okay.
supported them so that we then, and they were amazing. They supported us back.
So
Um,
what sort of So this is all very conversational in these early days and local businesses, and I really, I recognise the fact that you saw this problem as another opportunity to pivot again. But take us to those early initial conversations with people who probably have very, very little understanding what AI could do in their business. What did it lead to in terms of those early engagements? How did you have those conversations?
Um, so we're very collaborative. So what I would do is go in and say, I've uncovered this. Would you like to uncover this too?
Right,
But what we very quickly found is that it's not a tech problem at all. The tech is gone. It's a conversational tool. You just need
right,
language.
yeah,
Um, but people were treating it, and businesses were treating it as a tech problem, and it's not. It's a people problem.
okay,
It's about confidence and psychological safety and creating that environment in which people can experiment.
okay,
Um, and people had no idea at that stage that Gen AI was a skill and not a tool. And actually, I'm out all the time talking about how it's a skill. Forget
okay,
about the tools. You can use any tool. There's a skill to using Gen AI, and it's not transferring your Google skills to Gen AI. That is not going to work.
right,
So, very much about that change transformation and making people feel okay. So the best compliment I think we've been paid is that you tell us the scary stuff that we need to do and make us feel okay about it.
right.
And actually, it was lovely. Um, since then, we've been growing fast. We won the tender for the West Sussex AI for Business boot camps with the council government.
Mm.
And we've got some people coming on to that from charities in the area that we'd supported. And
Right.
one of them we spoke to, and she said, yes, she said, I got, you came in and did a quick lunch and learn for us. I just gave my time. And she said, prior to that, our CEO was absolutely not. We must never use AI. It's going to dilute what we do as a business, and
Right.
it's not happening. And
Okay.
then afterwards, they're like, so after that lunch and learn, that CEO has completely switched over to understanding how it can magnify what they do without diluting any of their culture, and was completely on board with AI in the right way.
So
So
education and
yeah,
training. Well, education, training, two separate things.
yeah,
Educating people on the ideas and the potential and the prospect, and then training in terms of its delivery are two key strands of what you do.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
working with individuals. So
Yeah.
when you say AI is a human problem, I'm beginning to understand what you mean now. It's about how like a hammer is a human problem in terms of knowing how to use it properly as a tool and not be frightened of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really important that business owners understand that, because
Yeah,
that is what's going to leave them behind. It's
yeah,
fear. So
fear.
it's making people feel safe.
Yeah,
And I think it's really important, to, and I think we spoke about this before, like problem solution, not find the solution as AI and then find the problem that will fix it. It's the other
yeah,
way around. Forget
right,
about AI. Where is your
yeah,
business? What are your priorities? What are your blockers?
yeah,
How can
yeah.
AI help with that?
Yeah, do you know what that's a mindset that I come across as a business coach an awful lot. Not so much with AI; it's developing, but it would have been, for example, a website problem. So people say,
Yeah,
"Oh, I've got a website, so I've got this tool, and that's going to solve all my problems. All I got to do is optimize, etc., etc." And no strategy or thinking behind it. It's just something to be used. But the fear issue is quite interesting. I mean, one of the anagrams I use for fear is false expectations appearing real.
yeah,
So you've got these people that think, "Oh, AI is going to come and take my job away," or
yeah,
AI is just going to take me way out of my comfort zone because I don't understand it and I'm too old and I'm too stuck in my ways, and therefore I'm just going to pretend it doesn't exist.
yeah,
And that's kind of where you're coming in with those kind of people, as well, I guess, with those that have no fear of AI because they haven't really known anything else, but then you're educating them to use it properly as a tool and integrate it with human systems and not deal with it separately and apart.
yeah. And share the knowledge, because
Yeah,
the stats are 50% of learning as adults comes from other adults. But what's happening is everyone's using AI DIY in their
yeah,
own little silos, not sharing any of that, when that is actually what will accelerate everything.
yeah,
And I love calling out dinosaurs. And I'm saying that word
Yeah.
because I will be in boardrooms and the CEO will say, but I'm a dinosaur, this isn't for me. And they will self call themselves a dinosaur. And I'm like, dinosaurs are exactly who it's for.
Yeah.
So I think what I really need people to understand is that AI reflects your current knowledge. So you've worked your whole career to have all the answers. And the more answers you've got, the more you progress. That comes with seniority. The answers no longer matter that you've worked your whole career to get, they no longer matter. It's the questions that matter. And because of your experience,
Yeah.
the quality of question you can ask is far better. So people at mid to late stage career are the ones that will get the most from AI because you know what to ask, you're an area expert, and you know how to interrogate the output. Whereas if you're someone new in role, you have no way of knowing if it's plausible nonsense or actually valuable. So the more experience you've got, the better the tool will work for you. So I'll be in boardrooms and I'm like, no, 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 there is no opting out. It's actually designed for you.
Yeah.
And you need to lead from the top. So a lot of leaders, it's a massive threat for them because suddenly the ground is being pulled from under their feet. There's a new tool. They might have people more junior in their team that they feel knows it better, and then their whole career is having the answers, and suddenly something big is thrown into the mix where we're all at zero.
Yeah.
Um, so then not only do they have to try and learn it themselves, but they have to try and lead a team learning it as well. And that's a huge weight to put on a leader's shoulders.
If I was coaching that leader, that dinosaur, I'd approach it from the point of view of the Pareto principle to say, look,
Yeah,
you don't have to be an expert in AI, but you need to know the 20%. That means you can ask the 80% in terms of the value of the questions of your team around you. Because if
yeah,
AI is a tool, you said that questions are really important. I totally agree. Questions are important in sales, for example, but also what you bring, the human experience, the human decision making, ability, your own character to the process is really important.
yeah.
And in sales, for example, AI is a tool that can help with the sales, but it can't replace the person. And perhaps the person becomes more and more important because if they've got less engagement at the point of sale, that engagement is more critical that they get it right. So it comes back to improving and developing your skills as a communicator as well.
You're 100% right. And we actually talk about the Pareto principle in another way, is that for most people, 80% of their job is the boring, drudgery, repetitive tasks that feel like work to get to the 20% that doesn't, where you're doing your
Yeah,
highest value. So
yeah.
what if with AI, we can turn that around? So 80% of the time, they're doing their highest value, most strategic, most innovative work, and only 20% of it is that repetitive stuff.
And that's irrespective of their role within the business. Whether
Totally irrespective. That applies to absolutely everyone.
yeah, that's fantastic. So it's a dynamic, I know another cliche, it's a dynamic environment. It's moving
It is.
very fast. Um, you've already demonstrated that you're adaptable as a company, and you've also interestingly pointed out that larger corporations find it harder to adapt, which raises a whole other question about their sustainability. But we'll park that one for the moment. You're here as a smaller organization, adapting and moving with the flow, being carried by the river. What's the next thing on the horizon for you? And we can't look beyond the horizon, but what's the next thing on the horizon for you? Do you
Um,
think?
yeah, so we're actually so what we're doing now, so we've gone through I don't know, still startup, but we're in the scale up mode now, which is repeatable systems so that we can serve uh people or businesses more widely on demand. So we're building that now, which opens up a lot more opportunities for
Yeah,
us. And we're really lucky. So I love connecting and networking with people. And through that, we've got an amazing black book now. I think because we were so early and we've been banging the AI drum for probably longer than anyone can remember,
yeah,
that it kind of takes a couple of years for those doors to start opening.
yeah,
And they're starting to open now. So we have got quite a big focus on the EU. We're working with some large organizations over there. So our focus now is on the regulated market.
Yeah.
So health, finance,
Yeah.
legal, because they've got a much steeper road to climb, and they need to be very careful. And these are people that are quite traditional and risk averse.
Yeah.
So, they need a long-term collaboration, which is how we work with all of our businesses. We really see ourselves as an extension of them.
Yeah.
So we're focusing on the EU, and there's some quite big global organizations that country by country are now starting to open to us.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that we're doing is we help them navigate the EU AI Act, which applies to any organization that trades within the EU. So Mars, for example, it applies to them. It doesn't matter. So Network Rail, we're talking to them. They've got 45,000 employees. About 10 of them consult in the EU with their EU rail, equivalents.
Yeah.
And but that means that those 45,000 employees fall under the EU AI Act. So
Yeah.
it's about making sure they're compliant, helping them with their AI literacy, and getting them ready if an auditor ever knocks at their door, which there are some high
Yeah.
risk organizations we work with in which they know that's likely.
Yeah. You can't afford, I'm going to summarize everything you've just said and say you can't afford to be a dinosaur in this situation. It's interesting you talk about the regulated industries, because a couple of years ago, I was talking to law firms and saying how vulnerable they were to blockchain, because when law firms are looking at a case, they look for precedents, and blockchain could do that so much quicker. Now they've got blockchain and AI, and they're perhaps the thing that happened to dinosaurs is they became extinct. Let's hope that our dinosaurs can keep going.
So we are in the David and Goliath zone now.
Yeah.
The more nimble the business, they can outcompete the larger organizations, and we're seeing that in this space. There's a window in time in which a smaller organization can absolutely get ahead of the larger.
Right. Yeah. No, I can understand that. Mary, what would your message be? The one message to executives, business owners, CEOs that just haven't yet grabbed the relevance of AI in their business. I know I'm pinning you down to one message, but what would it be?
Don't wait.
2 words. I love it. Don't wait. Fantastic.
Yeah, be curious. I know it's scary,
Yeah.
but we've all been signed up to this. There is no getting off the AI bus.
No. Well, I think that's a brilliant note to conclude this conversation on. Thank you very much for your time. It's been fascinating.
Lovely. Always a pleasure to spend time with you, Gavin. Thank you so much for putting this up.
Cheers. Thank you.